All right, today we're going to tackle this issue of factor timing. Factor timing is probably a debate that's been going on for decades now, and it basically involves the idea of trying to, move into or time your allocation into certain factors, things like value or momentum stocks, to try to, generate better expected future returns by moving into that area of the market or those particular areas of the market that exhibit certain qualities or characteristics. And so it's this idea of factor timing, and it happens probably at a lot of different levels. But your article that you wrote, Factor Timing, Sin Less Than a Little, I thought was a good sort of approach to sort of look at like factor timing, what it is, what can go wrong, and the different views on it. So maybe to start, you just want to, talk about sort of the genesis of the article and what you were really trying to get at there, and then we can dive into some of the specifics.
Yeah, factor timing is one of the most interesting topics, I think, in quantitative investing, because it's easy to think that, well, if you see these factors have huge periods where they're in and out of favor, and we're going through that with value right now, and it's very tempting to say, well, can I avoid owning the factors that are out of favor, or can I get into the best factors? Can I do something to rotate among these factors so that I own the factors that'll be the best going forward, and I don't own the factors that'll be the worst going forward? And so it's a very interesting topic to me, and so I wanted to write about it. But as you said in the title, the conclusion ends up being factor timing is anywhere from very difficult to not possible, somewhere in that range, depending on how you look at it and which firm's research you're using. But it's a very, very difficult thing to do. It's very, very difficult just assuming you can stick with the strategy. It's difficult, but it's also an emotional problem as well because of these periods where you're going to be wrong. So it's an interesting topic, but I think it's a very difficult thing to do successfully in the real world.
Do you think there's different time periods you're thinking about? Like, I'm trying to think about value right now. Like, value has been so out of favor. A lot of people are saying that, value is the place. If you look at like, small cap value versus large cap growth, which effectively small cap value is a play on, the factors that have worked over time. If you were to allocate to that. So, there's a lot of research, especially lately, that's been going around showing that, now looks like a great time to be allocating to small cap value. Now, these guys aren't saying that the turn is coming in the next month, the next 3 months, or even the next year, but that at least historically, the returns for small cap value as a sort of style and size area of the market has been extremely strong and good from periods similar to this. But they're not, what they're not saying is it's going to turn in the next month, but they are sort of implying that, looking out over the next few years, like small cap value is going to be a place to be. So with factor timing, I mean, is your sense that there's different, you can't factor time in the short term, but maybe you can lean into it over the long term, or do you not agree with that really either?
Yeah, no, I mean, I actually think factor timing can work. I'm a believer in it. I just think there's a lot of logistical issues in the real world that make it difficult. But, also depending on how you frame it, people look at it a little differently. So if I say to you, all right, small cap value is out of favor, I want to buy something that's out of favor, a lot of people will support that. And a lot of people even, we're on Twitter a lot of people on Twitter who will say you can't do factor timing will say right now, you should be going into small cap value. So it really depends on how you look at it. But yeah, I absolutely think, and I actually absolutely think you can go into a factor like this when it's out of favor, assuming you have the patience to stick with it for a very long period of time and you can enhance your returns. But that patience to stick with it is the really important component here, because small cap value was cheap a year ago. Small cap value was cheap going into the beginning of this year, and small cap value has been destroyed this year. And so you have to be able to have a very long-term time horizon, and you have to understand that you're probably going to be very early into the factor when you try to time it.